It's no secret that motherhood and life in general has its shares of ups and downs. What I've personally learned is that my capacity for weathering those storms has to do with small 1 minute habits done daily. Hour-long workouts, going no contact with toxic people, and daily trips to the beach certainly help plug the energy leaks in your life, but they're not necessarily sustainable practices that are going to create that long-term lasting impact for making motherhood easier. So with that said, I'm going to start off this video by telling you you're probably not going to hear anything that you don't already know. But what I will say is that we have been living in such an age of information. So many of us know all of the things, but are not necessarily bringing it from our head to our heart and actually living it. So we're going to look at the mind, body, spirit, emotions, and relationships. Our lives are made up of a collaboration of these areas, and they're all interconnected for having that truly strong foundation that is sustainable for your peace and happiness. And on that note, one other thing I want you to keep in mind is the energy behind why you're choosing to do them. If you're choosing to do them because of a feeling of lack, fear of what'll happen if you don't make a change, trying to get rid of pain, eventually these practices are not going to be sustainable. But if you can reorient and asking yourself, how am I choosing these habits? How am I creating this new energy in my life? If I'm creating something from a place of joy that spurs more joy, it's going to feel much juicier, much richer, and is actually going to create a much bigger change in the long run. I want you to really think about that as you're implementing these. So for each of these 1 minute habits, I'm giving you lots of options to choose from, and come up with your own too, and use these 5 areas as sort of a guideline for just simply creating more joy in your life, because that's going to be the real key here. Not so much what it is you choose, but how you choose it for making motherhood easier. If you guys are new here, my name is Rachel from Confidently Mom. I share kids product reviews and embodied parenting tips. So first up, we have your mind. I recently heard this quote: "You are the heir to the rules of the world you identify with." So with that in mind, you could just sit down and take 60 seconds a day to look at the rules that you are living your life by and if they're actually serving you. On the other hand, the one that I personally prefer is to really do a deep dive into the media and relationships that you are consuming and are technically programming your mind, if you're not aware of it, the rules that you're living your life by. For me, like as a teenager, I used to read like the A-list books or the Gossip Girl books. And let me tell you, the level of drama I attracted in my real life relationships matched the level of drama in those books. So that's what I'm saying. Taking an inventory of the books you're reading, the TV shows or movies you're watching, the news, the social media accounts you're following, and really asking yourself, are these bringing up unwanted feelings or experience in my life that are mirroring these storylines that I'm often consuming? Like, am I reenacting the drama without even realizing it? And a lot of us are. You could even just spend 60 seconds journaling how you feel before and after it. Spend 30 seconds before it, note how you feel, 30 seconds after it, note how you feel, to try to gain more awareness if something is or isn't working for you. Another one could be shaving 1 minute off of the amount of time you're consuming, or you could just cut it out altogether and make that as a 1 minute decision for yourself. Personally, I have a no phone for the first hour rule of my day. That could be something that you work up to, because whatever you consume that first hour of the day really does shape your mindset for the entire day going forward. So you want to be programming it intentionally. And that's not to say you have to give up your favorite guilty pleasure. But if you're struggling with anxiety and constantly reading or listening to true crime, maybe that's not the best place for you to be putting your energy, because it's putting you into like a negative feedback loop with those feelings. If you can watch Vanderpump Rules, well, I guess Vanderpump Rules is canceled now, The Valley, without having those icky feelings come up, and you're not playing out drama in your relationships in your life, then by all means, go ahead, have fun. But it's really just making sure that you are doing it with a certain level of intention that a lot of us don't always take the time to pause and have an experience with. Next is the body. This is the only place we truly have to call home in our life. And so I can't stress the importance of making sure we're taking care of it. And the great thing about this is there are so many things you can do in 60 seconds. One of my favorites is going outside and actually watching the sunrise. No glasses, no screens, no windows, like actual eye to sun. Obviously not like when it's all white and could actually hurt your eyes. But if you miss that like orangey phase of the sun, you can enjoy being outside with natural sunlight around you for 60 seconds in the morning or in the evening. And doing it at that like dawn and dusk time can actually help regulate your sleep and stress hormones too. Doing a 1-minute dance party, doing a gua sha facial. You could even set a timer on your phone that reminds you to reset your posture on the hour every hour for 6 hours a day. Privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are, and that means spending some time really cultivating and grasping your spirituality. There are endless ways to go about this. One way could be that you listen to uplifting or enlightening music every morning. We personally like to play beautiful chorus. There's different hymns or mantras that you could listen to as well, and those can really just program your mind to be plugged into a higher consciousness. Say a family prayer or set daily intentions, do a gratitude check-in, or even spend time visualizing a positive outcome to something that you are feeling stressed with. Mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power. I personally believe the best way to master yourself is through mastering your emotions. And there's so many ways to do this. You can check in on how everyone's feeling in the morning. If you want to tie this to also doing some mindset work, you can connect how those emotions are tied to your thoughts that you're having and identify different ways that you could go about changing them into something that's a little bit more supportive. You can practice deep breathing, saying positive affirmations to program your emotions for the day. You could even journal to examine misconceptions that are influencing the feelings coming up for you. One way I really like to look at this is I typically look at what my feelings are, the thoughts behind it, and then ask myself, is this the most generous interpretation of the situation? Like, do these feelings feel expansive or do these feelings feel constrictive? And if they feel like they're closing my heart down, then I know that there is some sort of misconception happening. So I go ahead and write a new story for those feelings, or I examine ways I could offer more grace, compassion, mercy, whatever it is for that situation to ultimately reroute. Quality of your life is the quality of your relationships, and the best thing to hold on to in life is each other. We are big on starting each morning with some sort of family connection. That could be a compliment circle. It could be like 1 minute of touching, whether that's a bunch of hugging or a cuddle puddle, actually sitting down and reading or playing with your kids in the morning. We like Keepy Uppey, a quick obstacle course. But you could play a game of I Spy in your commute if you don't have time to do something in the house, or you could play charades while you're also getting ready for the day. You can double this up with some of the other suggestions, like a 1-minute dance party, or you could do alphabet affirmations where you each take a letter of the alphabet and go around giving each other different affirmations for the day. Or you could do deep breathings or intention check-ins or gratitude check-ins. You can really kind of, if you're doing any of those other ones, build your relationship practice directly into it.
And when you're doing these small 1-minute habits, it's also going to make it easier for you to drop back into that childlike nature for yourself for longer periods of time with your kids. Like, we just had a once in a lifetime snow day epic adventure in Florida, and it was just like the coolest thing, because I've been practicing living my life like this for so long that I was able to completely drop everything on my to-do list and just go sledding with my kids for the whole entire day, because I had already been so plugged into those relationships and creating. Now, of course, you don't need to be doing that to drop everything for a super fun snow day with your kids, but I do find, at least for me personally, at different points in my life when I was more disconnected from this way of living, that I would have had this little voice in the back of my head being like, okay, we got to wrap it up. You got to get home to, do X, Y, and Z off of your to-do list. And instead, because of these small 1-minute habits I've been practicing for so long, I was able to fully drop into presence for a extended period of time. That's why I say these things coming together, working collaboratively, give you a stronger foundation for handling the unexpected.
I'd love to hear in the comments what your family practice is, which ones that you guys are already doing, if there's something I didn't include, what that is, or which ones of these you plan to start doing. If you want some accountability, feel free to come back and drop a comment for the next 30 days. I'd love to see your progress. Be sure to go back and check out my past videos, like my favorite 5 phrases as a mom that definitely make parenting easier. Hit that subscribe and notification bell, because I do have a couple of videos coming out about chores and allowance I know you guys are not going to want to miss.